So, Brian, on a very personal level, what is it about Mark Bolan and T-Rex that got to you?
The music. It's as simple as that. When he was alive and changing horses from the underground type of music that Tyrannosaurus Rex purveyed to the Electric Warrior, took me a while to adjust to that. So my head was also more into Blood, Sweat and Tears and Average White Band and all that during that period in the 70s. But it's when you really get to see the actual depth of the oeuvre. I'm sorry, that's a daft word. Once you get used to the gamut of music that Mark composed, for instance, I quite like the soft rock stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, Life's a Gas is a beautiful little song.
Yeah, Cosmic Dance for all of those, that type of thing.
Oh, Cosmic Dancer, well, okay, can I tell you a little story here?
You can say whatever you like, is your air.
Okay, so there was a guy called Sebastian Horsley, who was a huge fan of Mark Bolan, and...
He was Dandy in the Underworld, wasn't
he? Exactly. So anyway, I don't know if you're aware, but he committed suicide, etc. And I don't know if you get invitations, but I went along to his funeral. I was made aware of it, and I went along to his funeral. And when the cortege came in, where the pallbearers kind of brought the coffin into St. James's Church in Piccadilly, they played Cosmic Dancer.
Wow.
With Dance My Way Right Out of the Womb, Dance My Way Right into the Tomb. I was, choked up. I was in tears.
I can imagine. I think most people listening are out there, to be fair. That's amazing. Brian, we were talking about the depth and range of his music, and do you know what? I think that's the one thing that, if you like, the general public, and because of the lack of class radio and the lack of exposure to anything that's not mainstream these days, nobody, unless they're kind of brought to the trough, as it were, will ever get to understand the depth, breadth and meaning of the Bolan catalogue, really, particularly a lot of the demos and the recently discovered stuff. So we've got to get that out to everyone, haven't we?
Well, you're doing a great job yourself, of course, and well done, and power to your elbow, and I hope you can keep it going. To some extent, I'm hoping to play that role, but you can only take it so far in terms of, in the 2.25 hours that we will be on stage, you can't fit it all in, Barry.
No, absolutely.
So, I've had one fan, I mean, you know how fervent Bolan fans can be. I've had one guy keep emailing me talking about you've got to have the Children of Ran in, and then you can celebrate summer, and you've got to have Christmas Bob. Yeah. Well, sorry, ain't going to happen. But come along to the show and you will see wonderful treatments. You mentioned Dandy in the Underworld earlier. You got to see it, hear it to believe it, the treatment that is going to get in the show. I don't know if you've had a look on YouTube. Our director came up with the staging of Teenage Dream, where basically what we're trying to do with the music is depict episodes in Mark's life, but using his music. So Teenage Dream we used to show the love triangle, where June went across to the States, and we believe there was some sort of confrontation, and one of those her or me, who's it going to be kind of scenes, and we thought that is so appropriate fit the song or fit that scene around the song. And that's the kind of thinking behind some of these usages.
Fantastic. Can I ask you? Sorry.
Of course.
Sorry, do you want to finish that?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Very rude of me, I apologise. What I was going to ask you was, what do you think your biggest hope and dream or success for the show would be? I mean, obviously the monetary level is a good thing, but I guess for you it's more spiritual.
You're quite right. I mean, I thought I was going to open up and say, call me soppy if you like, but my ambition is that this is a regular theatrical show, year in, year out, forever. I don't know how else to put it, and that it has enough legs. So, for instance, I'm sure most Bolan fans anyway, are aware that he was big in Australia. I'd love the show to go to Australia.
Japan,
in particular. He was big in Japan. He was huge in Japan, as you know. In fact, appropriately, the photograph we use for the poster was taken by Mr. Sakita, who went on tour with Mark.
Correct. Yeah.
As you know. So that's what we've tried to do, see. And in dressing the show, for instance, I've managed to get a deal with Orange where we'll be using on-set amplifiers that T-Rex used.
Wow.
Or also from Gibson, we are going to be getting a honey-coloured Fender because they do a Mark Bolan guitar.
Yeah, Gibson.
And these are the ways of trying to make this work.
Yeah. Are you? You're aware, obviously, from your connections, you're aware of what Spirit is doing with the catalogue in terms of placement and in terms of re-releases through Fat Possum and the like. Recently, there's more TV advertising in the States for a TV show, The Playboy Club or something, which is using 20th Century Boy, of course. What chances do you... There's lots of American films actually picking up Bolan, aren't there? Do you think there's a chance of the show getting over there?
Well, I sincerely hope so. The thing, Barry, is basically... Excuse me, got a dry throat.
Well, I'll take a sip of my San Miguel. You take a sip of water.
Take a sip of something or the other. Okay, now, the bottom line is we have got to make sure the show is a success here. That is the criterion that ensures further investment. In other words, it's very expensive to stage a show. Just to give you an example, last year there was a show, they put on a show of Gone with the Wind. I mean, they made it too flipping long, 4.5 hours and all that, got it all wrong, but that cost about 5 million quid.
Wow.
Now, we've put in a lot less than that, sorry, to try and get it on the road, so to speak. The way it's got to work is you've got to take it out into the provinces, if you like. I don't mean that as a denigrating way of looking at it.
No, that's fine.
You've got to road test it. That's what we're doing at Ipswich. And providing we get enough things right and sell enough tickets, we should be able to get the backing to take it into the West End next year.
Fantastic. Touring
around the country, West End, there are relative, pros and cons to doing it either way. There is actually, I'm told, and this is all because I'm on a learning curve, one doesn't know this going into it, I understand there's more money in touring the show around the UK rather than going into the West End. Would you have thought that?
No, I'm not sure I would. Hey, listen, I think it's probably, because I can tell you're struggling with your throat there as well, but the one thing is that it's for sure, wherever the show goes, the Bolan fans will go. We need to make it the duty of the Bolan fans to take their friends and their friends' friends and so on to make sure the show is a success. And Brian, what I'd like to say is thanks for attempting to do this. It's not easy to take on this project, so I can imagine. And also, many thanks for coming on the show. We're going to do some interviews with producers and cast later on in coming weeks, but just for now, it's been a dandy interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and now just say thank you for giving me the opportunity of speaking to you on air.
You're welcome.
And I was speaking to Roland earlier, and he has agreed, providing I give him a few ideas first of what you might want to talk about. He has agreed to do the show next week.
Oh, well, that's even better. We'll push the other interviews back a little bit, and we'll do Roland next week. That's really great. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow off air. Okay.
All the best, Barry. Thanks a lot.
All the best, Brian. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.